Oh my goodness, come here. Hello everybody. So I'm not sure how this is working. Is this streaming? Hello everybody. Come here. So I'm not sure how this is working. So here we are chilling. Is this streaming? Hello everybody. Okay, so let me check. Hello, Julia. Well, now he doesn't want to come back. Muffy doesn't want to come back. Oh well. I'm still trying to figure out how this works, but I think I might have got the hang of it. I don't know. Come here, Muff. He's losing his feathers, so he's sort of like not very happy. Like he's changing his feathers, not losing them, but actually changing them. So he feels kind of ugly, so he doesn't want to be held a lot. So let's see. Not sure how this would work. I'm gonna still wait a couple of minutes before I start with the foundations, because I only see 2 people right now and it's still 15 minutes until it was supposedly to broadcast. So, yep. Muffy. Oh my goodness. You wanna come here? Come here. Say hello. Say hello. Say bye. You're cute. Yeah, he likes kisses, especially now that he feels a bit kind of ugly. I'm not sure if you can see, but there are like empty spots on his belly because he's, molting, so he's changing his feathers. And his face also is missing some feathers. Hello, Albino. Well, Albino, I mean, oh my gosh. Is it Albino Harry? I'm not really sure how to pronounce your username. Oh my gosh. But yeah. You don't want to say anything? Oh my goodness. You don't? Well, he just wants to hang out here. I suppose he's not in a very chit-chatty mood now. But you know, Muffy, we have to show foundations now. Okay? Muffy. Yeah. We have to show foundations. You want to show them? No? Yeah, that's true, but he feels ugly. Like he's hiding most of the day, like either in the cage or in the bathroom in the dark or something like that. So, right? Say, bah, say, bah. I'm a big monster. Well, not quite. I mean, look at the sizing compared to me, but sometimes I gotta stroke his ego a little bit, right? You sure you don't want to say anything? I mean, they're saying nice stuff to you. You don't care? Itch. My face be. So, are we going to start with the foundations? We're not going to make this whole live event about you, aren't we? Okay, Muffy. Muffy, you gotta go now. Come here. Come here. So, okay, there he is. Muffy, get up. Sorry about that. He's just going in on top of the screen and like hanging around there. So yeah, let's start. I suppose you're hearing and seeing me just fine, I guess. I'm not sure. I've done this thing only once, and this is my first time, so I really don't know if it's streaming okay. Okay, so which one shall we start? I'm gonna start with this one because I think that it's a foundation that's not very well known because, not the foundation, it's actually BB cream, but it's not very well known because the European version is actually very, very dark. And for some reason, the American version is actually quite light. So this is the Lancome Bien Fait Tente, and the shade is number 1 Porcelain. Sorry if you see the image mirrored. I don't really know how to fix that, so I'll try to pronounce what it is. The sunscreen that they're using here, it's octinoxate and titanium dioxide, as you can see there. Well, it's reverted image. So yeah, let's start by swatching, I suppose, here. I'm gonna be cleaning as I go. So anyways, as you can see, this one is quite pale. There you go. It does oxidize a little bit. As you can see, it's starting to get slightly more orangey, but I think that when blended, it's still acceptable. I mean, it has a yellow undertone to it, but on the face, if you have some kind of redness, I think that this is pretty good. So I would say that this is, if you're anywhere from NC10 to NC13, this would work pretty well. If you're, whoops, sorry, I'm taking the wipe to clean it off. If you are NC15 and above, it will look too pale. And if you are really like NC5, it might look a bit too warm. So yeah, this one good for NC10 to NC13, 14, somewhere there. So yeah, coverage, it's light to medium. You would still see blemishes with this one. It's not like the Asian BB creams. This is more of a, I would say, tinted moisturizer. even in the feel, it feels more liquidish, more fresh than the traditional BB creams. And for sunscreen, I cannot really rate it because I don't use it as my sole sunscreen. But if you would, I would assume that you need to use a lot of this product, and if you apply too much of it, it can actually look cakey, so I would not recommend that. Any questions regarding that one? Okay, then I'm going to proceed to the other. I'm not sure what kind of delay there is between you seeing the video and me receiving the messages, because I think that the video runs on a slight delay. So I'll be constantly checking on the messages in case you have any questions. Next one in line. For oily and combination skin, it's actually pretty good because it's not, I believe it's oil-free. Let me check. I'm not. Here it says that it's mainly for all skin types, even very sensitive skin. It doesn't mention anything. It has a natural finish, so it, for me, I have a combination skin, sometimes tending to oily, sometimes to dry, and I haven't noticed that BB cream making my skin any oilier than it would. It isn't mattifying, so if you really have like really oily skin, I would say that you need to use a mattifying primer beforehand, or even maybe set it with some kind of setting spray or powder after it, because it is a sunscreen. It has SPF 30, and everything that tends to be like above SPF 15 can make your face a little bit oilier throughout the day. I don't know, I think it has to do with the emollients that they need to put in order for the sunscreen to become stable or something like that. So that's something I've noticed. Yeah, moving on. The Jane Iredale Glow Time. This one was actually recommended to me by a subscriber, I want to say a year or something ago, or maybe even longer than that. Anyways, it was never under my radar, and I think a lot of people don't realize about this one. Sorry, going back to the question, I got a question if I would say that it's hydrating. I assume it's the Lancome one that you're asking for. Yes, it is actually hydrating. That's one of the properties that it has. It says here that it's antioxidant, vitamin enriched, and it has 24-hour moisturization. So I would say that it's pretty hydrating, but it's not like if you would layer your own moisturizers and oils and whatnot. Yeah, back to the Jane Iredale, the Glow Time. This is in the shade BB1. Anything that's between, they have BB1 to, I don't know if it's BB6, 7, something like that. But BB1 and BB3 are actually very pale. They're very different undertones though. So the one that I have here is slightly ashy undertone, and sorry, it's the Glow Time Full Coverage Mineral BB Cream. Let me check if you can see that. There it is. And this, I believe it's purely, yeah, it's purely mineral sunscreen. I can't see here which one it was, if it's zinc oxide or titanium dioxide, but either way, I remember that it was mineral sunscreen. Now this one is very heavy. It feels, I want to say like you put Vaseline on your face. So if you would mix zinc oxide with Vaseline, or you know those rash creams for babies, this is what it feels like when applying on the face. So I would not recommend this one if you really have very oily skin, but if you have drier skin, I think this would be quite okay. So here is the swatch, and as you can see, this one is actually close to white. So that's why I wanted to mention this one, because it's a very rare BB cream that is actually having very, very high coverage. The SPF in this, well, it's 25, so it isn't really that great. Yes, it's like a pseudo cream. Yeah, exactly. It feels like a pseudo cream. Or, you know, there is a cream in England that they sell in a pot that's sort of like for everything, and it's like really thick, white, almost solid consistency. This is what I would compare it to. It's of course creamy, but it's feels very heavy. It like you feel like you have a mask on your face, unless you really apply the tiniest amount. But if you apply like under the normal quantity, then you will not get the full coverage. You will get a sheer coverage. But yeah, I kind of wish that this was made not so thick and heavy, because although it says that it's very good for all skin types, including oily skin types, it still makes my skin quite oily. I'm not familiar with Savlon, so I can't really tell, but I would assume that it's something pretty close to what I was describing. So yeah. But yeah, the shade in this one it's definitely way paler than NC or NW10. So I would rank it a bit darker than NC and W05, but it's close there. For me, it's actually a pretty good match. Like I can barely see it there. There you see. I'm slightly more bluish undertone, so of course everything will always stand out. But if you're, it smells also very good. If you're desperate for a BB cream and you're impossibly pale, then you should definitely check this one. This is also good to mix with other foundations or tinted moisturizers, because you can lighten the shade a lot while still preserving coverage. So that's has a good use. Or if you have very dry skin, this is also very good. Overall, I don't really use it that much, mainly because it can feel very heavy. Even if I have really dry skin, it can feel heavy. And the other downside is that if you have flakiness, which comes often with dry skin, it will emphasize it. So you must have that right kind of skin type. Normal to dry, but very smooth, and not many roughness or dry patches on your skin. But yeah, what's good about this is that it's almost white and it has full coverage. So if you're looking for something like that, then this is actually good one. Any questions about that one? Mati, you want to come up here? You want to come? No? Okay. Okay, so I'll move on to the next one. This is actually a new one that I just purchased. I'm not sure how readily available in the US it is. I got a question or statement actually. Yeah, probably for you, which you are NC12, the Jen Iredale in BB1 will be just like a white cast. because it has somehow a grayish whitish undertone, so it might make you look ghostly. So yeah, BB3 might be better. It's not necessarily that much darker, but it has a peachier, yellower undertone, which might oxidize a little bit, so it might be a good match. Yeah, so whoops, this is the Dior Snow. So I don't know how readily available this is in the US. I googled it and I found it in some websites. Overall, you can buy this one online, and this is the Dior Snow BB cream in 010. They used to have this one a couple years ago, only one shade, and now they made 010 and 020. This has SPF 50, and the sunscreen is oibenzone, and I believe also some titanium dioxide. After reading reviews of this, a lot of people were mentioning that this actually brightens and whitens the skin. I don't really know. I can't tell you very much about this. Most of the reviews that I saw were from people of Asian descendancy, or Asian descendant, or people that were Asians living in Asia, because I think this might be some kind of an Asia thing, like Asia exclusive, because I purchased it at the duty-free in the airport, and they tend to have, at least in Helsinki, they tend to have a lot of Asian exclusive products, because we get a lot of people from Japan because there is direct flight. Anyways, that was a very long explanation for a simple intro of the product. Anyways, this is actually way too dark for me, but I was just drooling at the packaging, drooling at Dior Snow, and I was like, okay, whatever, I'm gonna purchase that one. As you can see, it is kind of too dark for me. It might appear slightly brighter on screen. Yeah, it's appearing a hair brighter on screen. I think because of the SPF content that it's so high, but you can see it's actually darkening. So, I mean, when it's buffed properly, if you could see here if I'm buffing it, when it's buffed properly, it's not really a big deal, especially if you use setting powder, contouring, bronzer, whatnot. But you can see it's actually ridiculously dark for me. But I actually like the product itself. It has, I would say, medium to full coverage, which is something that I actually personally enjoy, especially that product is very fluid. Okay, so it's not available in the UK, so probably your only option would be to purchase it through Strawberry Net or eBay or something like that. But yeah, this has almost full coverage. Somehow on the face it appears slightly brightening, not really that much, but a hair. It doesn't make my skin any oilier than it would normally. It is pretty moisturizing. I would say that it's more of a moisturizing BB cream than a mattifying BB cream, because I know that in Asia they love mattifying BB cream because a lot of Asians tend to have very oily skin. This one, though, it says that it helps the skin to regulate its I don't know, oil production or something like that due to temperature increases. It also protects it from the stress from temperature increases. It also protects it from humidity variations, which is something that I've noticed with this product. It won't start melting off right away if it's very humid or hot. And it also protects it from ozone pollution or urban pollution or whatever. But yeah, here it is. It's quite dark. I would say that this is, if you don't mind having slightly darker face, hair darker, then between NC10 and NC15, but I would say this is a better match for someone who's NC15 and maybe up to NC17 or somewhere around that. In the face, it can reverse oxidize, so it can lighten hair, but it's not really that big of a difference. Any questions about this product? Let me know. There. Sorry, Mom. I didn't mean to scare you. You want to come? Come here. Come say hello. Come here. Okay. He wanted a little bit of attention. He was feeling a bit lonely there. Aren't you, cutie pie? Aren't you? You want to say hello? Say. Yeah, you have food in your mouth. Excuse his unclean mouth. He's just been eating his lettuce that's behind there, right? Thank you. This next necklace is actually from, I think Albino Hare might actually know her, Saya, from, what's her name? Funky Homo Sapiens. She has her new store in Helsinki, and this necklace actually she made. It's from her design. And yeah, I thought that it was quite out there and quite comic-like, so that's why I was very interested in it. Oh, hello. I'm not sure how to pronounce your name. KJB Bell. Hello. Muffy says hello. Bye. We just got started not very long ago, so you didn't miss very much. At any rate, this will be saved on YouTube under a normal video, so you'll be able to see the initial X amount of minutes that you weren't here if you're interested. Anyways, moving on. This will be from Chanel. It's Le Blanc, and it's a light mastering whitening fluid foundation, SPF 25, and the PA, for those of you who are interested, is 3 stars. The shade is BR10 Beige Rosé. So basically this has a pink undertone. In Chanel, or in general in Chanel and YSL, and I believe those are the 2 French companies that actually use that scaling system. Every time you see BR, it means that it's a pink undertone. BG means that it's a gold undertone, and I believe that's all. BG, BR. No, sorry, BD is actually gold undertone. I was thinking gold with a G, but it's in French. French is with a D, doré. Anyways, yeah, moving on. Oh, hello. Kirstie. I'm not sure I pronounced that properly. Oh, I'm going to butcher people's name. I'm really sorry. Yeah, so moving on. This one, I bought it again in a duty-free, but I believe that you can purchase this from Strawberry Net or eBay or somewhere along the internet. I don't think they have it in the US, so that's why I won't be advertising that you can get it in the US. This is what it looks like. I really like the packaging. It's very actually, let me write it here. Whoops. Okay, good. I didn't butcher your name. Yeah, so I really like the packaging. It's very minimalistic. It has the, I would say, cute emblem on top of it. I really like that you can actually see the shade through the bottle. But moving on, this is supposedly to be a whitening foundation. Once again, I cannot tell you if that's true or not, because I'm not really looking for that property. Again, this is an Asia exclusive, so I suppose that maybe Asian skin has certain concerns that they would see a direct benefit from this, but I just like it for the foundation property, so let's go. Okay, doesn't want to pump now. Technical difficulties, let's try again. I don't know what happened. Oh my goodness, what's the matter now? Sorry, I don't know what happened here, but it seems that the pump got stuck with something. I don't know if I can make it move like this. Let's see. Nope. Sorry. Let's see. Apparently, this won't work. Oh well. That's a surprise. I don't know what's the problem. Oh, okay. It got because this foundation is pretty thick, and if for some reason you don't pump it very often, it can tend to get stuck. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, because it sort of like dries out or something like that. I don't know what's the deal with this, but it can get stuck. So anyways, this is what it looks like. Let's apply it here. So there we go. As you can see, this is a very pale foundation, very pale for Chanel standards, because Chanel tends to be pretty dark in almost every foundation that they sell. Not all of them. Yeah, exactly. Bravo. The actual pump mechanism. I mean, you pay, I don't know, $70 for this, and then you don't use it a couple times and it just dries out. And then you have to like open it and screw, not screw, but scoop out the dried out product. Like, yeah. Anyways, yes, that's true. It's very, very pale. You can even see here. Yeah, there. Let's see if it's not too bright. It oxidizes a bit, but I mean, this is just a hair of oxidation. Actually, I'm gonna bring out my MAC palette so you can see the difference. Okay, so I'm back. This is the Studio, what's the name? Studio Pro Conceal and Correct palette in light. So it has like the W10 of the full coverage, which is this one. And this is basically NW10. Yeah, this is basically, they say W10 because it has slightly more pink undertones, but look, this is different undertone, but if you compare it to NW10, it's actually pretty much the same thing. You have to think that cream colors don't oxidize when they're like cream and concealers. They don't tend to oxidize like a liquid, because liquid tend to set, so it darkens a little bit or it can lighten a little bit. But anyways, there you go. NW10, full coverage by MAC, and this is the Chanel Leblanc Light Mastering Whitening Fluid Foundation in BR10 Beige Rosé Pastel. So yeah, it's pretty good match. If you have a neutral skin tone, I would say that this is good. I mean, when looking at this, not the name, I would say that if you're anywhere from warmer to cooler tones, as long as you're not in the extreme spectrum of it, it will suit you pretty well. So basically, if you're, I would say, NCNW 08 to NCNW 11, you could pull off this foundation pretty well. The finish. Now, the finish is very targeted to Asian markets, so it will have a natural matte finish. It's not mattifying per se, it's not geared towards oilier or oily skin, but it is aimed at Asian skin, and they tend to have the concerns of dullness, pores, hot temperatures, humidity, and slight oiliness or oil production. So this is aimed at doing those functions. So basically, it will stay pretty nice on a humid, hot day, or when your skin gets like overly hot and it starts to get a bit oilier because of that. This will last or resist that. Coverage wise, it is more on the full coverage, so you won't really be able to get any sheerness out of this. Let's see. Actually, let me swatch, because I have the Chanel CC Cream in 10, which is another of the very pale ones, and it was sent to me by Julia, which she's here. Thank you. Anyways, I'm gonna put it here. Whoops. So you can see, well, this one has oxidized a little bit, so it's fair to wait a bit of time for this one. But I mean, they are very close, very, very close. The undertones are slightly different. Oh my goodness, I'm sorry about the brightening effect. Yeah, the undertones are slightly different. This one is more of a yellow, cool undertone, and this one has more of a slight peachiness to it. And as you can see, the middle one, which is the MAC full coverage in W10, has really much more of a pink undertone. But if you look at it, this one looks slightly darker because, of course, it has more of that natural matte finish, whereas this one doesn't really need to set that much, so therefore it will remain slightly paler. But when looking at it like this, I mean, the difference is not really that much greater. If I properly blend this one like I did with this two, you can see that it is on the NCNW 10 spectrum, and as I said, if you're NCNW 08 to NCNW 11, something like that, then you can pull off this one. Yep, any questions about this one? I'll be hopefully making reviews about this, like more in depth, but those tend to take a lot of time because of the editing, and I have to really make sure that Muffy is away sleeping so that he won't really make a lot of sound. Well, hello buddy, he's on the floor. But yeah, that's why I don't tend to do just like one foundation review, because they are really, really time consuming. So I might do of these live events and go over the foundations and whatnot. I'm gonna start going by the next one, and this is the Chanel CC Cream SPF 50 in the shade 10. I believe that this shade is only available in the UK and online, of course you can find it, and in Asia. I'm not really sure about this, but I know that in the US the lightest shade is 20, and 20 is already pretty pale. I know Julia here has shade 20, and she mixes 10 and 20. I don't know in which ratio, but she's NC 12, I believe. So the 20 isn't like the typical 20 in Chanel. It runs lighter, and this one actually is one of those that is unusually pale. There you go. I really, really like the consistency of it. Here you can see. It never sets completely, so it has that slight dewiness or glow to it. You can slightly feel it on your skin. Now, I don't know if you're extremely dry skin, how that would feel. Like, if you're applying it. So, but I would assume that it always remains that sort of, as you can see, it's reflecting a little bit. It's almost, I don't want to say wet, but it never completely sets, or like if you get your hair into here, it will like pull a little bit of product off. Shade wise, I would say again that this is NC10, maybe a bit lighter, not that much though. So anyone from, I would say NC07 to NC10 can wear this. Now this, what I also experienced is that sometimes it will lighten, so it will reverse oxidize, and sometimes it might darken, probably depending on my skincare and the primers and sunscreens that I have underneath. Yeah, it's quite hydrating. That's the word that I was looking for. I would say it's very hydrating. So if you don't really have dry skin, then this on its own would really hydrate. So if you have a normal skin, you would be pretty good with this alone. I don't remember the sunscreen that it was here. I think it's titanium dioxide. I don't know if it's the nano version. Julia here probably will know better about which sunscreen it is. But yeah, this is what it looks like. Coverage for a CC cream, it has more coverage than typical CC creams. I would say it is a medium coverage, not quite full or fullest, but it's medium dipping on full coverage, but you can wear it sheer as well. So if there is any questions about this one, just let me know. So I'll be moving on to the next one. This is the Dior Air Flash, and it's a spray foundation, nothing fancy, and it's in the shade 100. I personally like the packaging. I think it's feels nice. There is a lot of product, 70 ml, 2.3 fluid ounces. And you have to shake it before. So there is this little bead inside that will probably mix the different components. It has a spray. Now, this is marketed as you would spray it on your face, but I say that that's just a mess. I mean, you would need to cover your hair, you would need to cover your clothes, your eyebrows, your eyelashes. It will go just anywhere, unless you're really spraying it near your skin. But it says that it has to be 20 centimeters away, so something like 8 inches, roughly. So I never use it that way. What I like to do though is that I'm picking a brush of this kind. So this is the Real Techniques buffing brush. I love buffing brushes, and I would just spray it directly here, and then, you know, just apply it on my skin. Now this one, as you can see, let me put, yeah, so this one is more aimed to darker skin tones. So the 100, I would say that it's good for NC 13 to NC 15. I have experience with this one that it actually lightens on the face when applied. It depends, of course, what kind of primers and whatnot, but I've experienced that myself. I really, really love this product because I can get sheer or I can get extremely full coverage. It sets, so it doesn't feel wet or sticky or anything like that. It feels more like it's weightless. You don't feel anything on your skin. I like it again because with one can, especially if I'm traveling, I can achieve any kind of look and it still looks like natural skin. It doesn't really have a particular finish. It's not really dewy, it's not satin, it's not matte. It's just like imagine your skin after washing and moisturizer, that kind of finish. It doesn't go into any spectrum. It's also how can I say it? It lasts very, very well on the skin. For me, it worked very well on very hot and humid weather or on cooler, drier weather. Both ends were very well, so that's why I like this one. It's sort of like a versatile foundation because you can use it for any kind of finish, for any kind of event. Like you can have a full-on bridal wear with this, or you can just have a light coverage for days that you just, I don't know, are going out and about for running errands or whatnot. Also, you don't necessarily need to set this one with powder. I noticed that it stays beautifully without powder, and yeah, I personally very much like it. I know that it is slightly darker than my skin tone, but I really, really, really love this foundation. I love it so much that I have the 100 and the 200. The 200 if I have self-tanner on, and or if I want to contour, and the 100 for like when I'm pale. This color, as you can see, since it's darker, it will give me a more of a warmer skin tone, so it sort of like brightens up the skin a little bit. And I'm going to compare it against NC15, the cream. So you have to keep in mind that this is a cream, so it will look a bit lighter. But yeah, it is very, very close to NC15 MAC full coverage. There you go. It has slightly more of a peachier, pinkier undertone, so it of course looks different than the purely yellow undertone. But at any rate, I really like it. It's versatile, it's practical. But again, if you have very, very sensitive skin, this might not be for you, because I know that to some people it gives irritations. I assume because it has solvents, you know, it's flammable, so it has some kind of solvent in here, that it might be too offensive to some skins. Any questions about this foundation in particular, just again let me know, I'll be answering them. I'm trying to be as thorough as I can regarding the, I keep adjusting this. I mean, I'm not, like when I'm going to show my arm, it feels a bit awkward when the camera's up, but when I'm actually talking, if it's too down, it feels like I'm chopping my head off. I'm sorry about the constant readjustment. Next foundation that I'm going to be talking about is one that's recent in Bobbi Brown's line, but not that recent. I believe it released last year, or at the end of the year before, so 2014, the end, or beginning of 2015, somewhere there. But it is the Bobbi Brown Intensive Skin Serum Foundation SPF 40, and the shade is 00 Alabaster. I liked the Intensive Skin Serum from Bobbi Brown. It was pretty good, so I was very excited to try actually the serum foundation. When looking at the ingredients, actually it has a lot of active ingredients. Like, it's not just some cheap foundation that it claims to be serum-ish because of the consistency, but it actually has serum properties. It has also sodium hyaluronate, it has peptides, it has some oil extracts, I believe it has vitamins. It's actually like a serum, so you're applying a treatment when you're using this foundation. Here it says that it's super silky, weightless hybrid foundation, beautifies skin from the inside out with 3 powerful skin-enhancing ingredients. One of them is the cordyceps mushroom extract, bamboo grass extract, and lychee extract. Now, I don't know these 3 if they're going to do really much, but I do know that sodium hyaluronate, peptides, vitamins, those actually do work, and they aren't just some kind of mumbo jumbo from the company. The sunscreen. Now, the sunscreen is octinoxate 3.9%, titanium dioxide 6.1%, and zinc oxide 3.8%. Here you can see it. So it has a higher concentration of mineral sunscreens, which means that it will actually appear slightly lighter on the skin. It will look lighter shade, or, okay, I'm not saying this properly. It will appear lighter on your skin, not the texture, but the actual color. Okay, let's go. That's, by the way, that's the foundation that I'm wearing today. So I personally love it for the days that I don't really have a lot to cover, because this is more of a sheer to medium coverage, which is to be expected from serum foundations. They aren't meant to be full-on full coverage. But yeah, anyways, I love the packaging. Look at this. It's just beautiful. Like, this is just beautiful to put it on your counter. I don't know. I just find it very old school apothecary. Yeah, exactly. More brightening. Yeah, it's more brightening due to the higher mineral content, but it has chemical sunscreen if you are concerned about that. Just let you know. So first you have to shake it, because it's actually, there is pigment in serum. So that's why you have to really shake it well. Otherwise, you might get drops of serum and then some globs of pigment. So, yep, this is the actual pipette, what it looks like. So I'm gonna grab a little bit and I'm gonna apply some here. Here we go. And there it is. This is what it looks like. And you can, whoops, as you can see, it's pretty pale. I know that Bobbi Brown has been making recently several foundations that they released porcelain and alabaster shades, and they were kind of too dark. So I'm very glad that in this range, the alabaster is actually, well, decently pale. So I'm going to compare with the MAC full coverage foundation in W10. This is where it is. Let's put it here. So there you go. Of course, this one has maybe more correct undertones to my skin, but you can see that it's a very close match. Like, this one is slightly brighter because it has very high sunscreen also, and it is a cream. Cream foundations will always look slightly paler because they don't oxidize, they don't have any solvents evaporating or anything like that. They're just, you know, creams basically sitting on top of your skin. So yeah, as you can see, it is decently pale. So basically, I would say anyone from NCNW 07 to NCNW 10 can pull off the Bobbi Brown one. If you're NC 10 to NC 14, so in that range, I would say you should grab the shade 0 porcelain. Bobbi Brown foundations overall tend to be very yellow undertoned. So that's her philosophy. It's that everybody has yellow undertones in their skin. Everybody looks good with yellow undertones in their skin. I don't personally agree with that. Her only exception is in the 00 Alabaster. It actually has neutral to cool undertones for some reason, but everything else tends to be very, very yellow undertoned. I'm actually going to show you the porcelain. I have a porcelain stick, so I'm going to show you. So this is the skin foundation stick in Zero Porcelain. So you can see the comparison. There you go. So this is actually the zero color. So, or maybe let's put it here. As you can see, I mean, the 00 is clearly paler, and the zero has more yellow undertones. If you look at the MAC W10 and this one, it really has more yellow undertones. So if you are, as I said, between NC 12 and 14, because this isn't still NC 15, you would benefit from the shade 0. But if you are NC&W 10 to NC&W 07, something like that, you will benefit from the shade 00 Alabaster. Hope I made myself clear. Also, the finish of this foundation is glowy to dewy almost. Let's see. Yes, it doesn't, let me check. This doesn't even have, the stick doesn't even have sunscreen. So it's basically, I believe it doesn't have sunscreen. I mean, I could be wrong, but if it has, it's SPF 15 or less. But I believe it doesn't have sunscreen because it was mainly made for professional makeup artists to make photography and bridal and fashion makeup. So it ought to not have sunscreen in order for the cameras and the flash to not reflect. So yeah, if you would buy this one in shade 0, for example, it will be slightly more brightening because it has that extra mineral sunscreen content. Also, yeah, this one has a dewy satin kind of finish. So if you have oily skin, again, I would not recommend this one. This, although it is very fluid, very light, it has a lot of emollients. So if you would use this as your only product, then it might work. But if you have already a skincare routine and you apply this on top, it's like if you would be applying a sunscreen with a serum on top of everything that you have. So you have to take that into account. I personally love it, but I have to slightly set it with a powder if I want it to last anyhow more than 2 hours on my skin. So moving on, I suppose there are no questions for the Bobbi Brown one. If not, then I'm gonna just moving on. This one I already made a review on, but I thought I'll be mentioning it here again in case some people aren't looking through the reviews or don't remember. Of course, there are like hundreds of videos. This is the Marc Jacobs Remarkable Full Cover Foundation Concentrate in the shade 10 Ivory Light. This was released last summer, so it's pretty recent. Prior to this one, this is what packaging looks like. Sorry, it's a bit messy. That's a problem with this product, is that it can get a little bit messy. Marc Jacobs had 2 foundations prior to this one. It had a pot foundation, which was a weird mix between a solid and a mousse, but that one wasn't really that pale. And then there was this gel, the Genius Gel foundation, which it is very pale if you are looking for a foundation, but I found it to be too light coverage. Like, it said that it was almost full coverage, but I was never able to achieve the full coverage, even when using the actual brush recommended from Marc Jacobs. So that one, I would say, if you have not really much blemishes. Also, the Genius Gel foundation from Marc Jacobs, it's much more oil controlling. So for me, it would be actually too drying, but it is very good if you have oily skin. That one is really, really good. If you have oily skin and more or less flawless looking skin that you don't really need a lot of correction. But then this one was released and is actually very, very, very high coverage. So it's basically sort of a pigment in a solution. It's very thick in a way, like as you can see here. Let me put a dot here. It can get very messy. That's the problem. Like, look at the bottle. That's the only downside from this one. And also the other downside is that you can over apply these very easily. The recommended application is that you remove this little thingy, and there is like a small spherical thing at the end, and you would tap that like, I don't remember if it's 2 here, 2 here, 2 here, and 1 here, or something like that. And then you would blend it out, and then if you still have areas that you need to conceal, then you would apply it like a spot corrector or a spot concealer, because it is that high coverage. Let's go. There you go. This has, let me check if it has actually mineral content. Where are the ingredients? Doesn't look like it has any SPF. No, it has titanium dioxide, but it's not, there is no SPF in this. No, it doesn't have an SPF. So this is without an SPF, and here it is. I would say this is a neutral foundation. It's, again, it might appear too dark on camera because it is such a high coverage that I've actually over applied. So look, now that I've blended out, it's actually lightening, so my bad. This is actually lighter than NW10, so I would say if you're a hair darker than NCNW05 to NCNW10, you can pull this one off. This has another thing that I want to mention is that it has a chalky kind of finish, which can bother a lot of people, but if it's too chalky, it's because it has been over applied. So that's, you have to be really careful with this one. I found that the best way to apply it is to dot it on your face, buff it with a buffing brush like this one, and then have a beauty blender, like a damp beauty blender, and push it into your skin. And the beauty blender, because it's slightly damp, it will remove the excess of product, and then going on to the areas that you need to really conceal and work on that area individually. Because if it's just a small area, it won't really look chalky if you apply more. But if it's on your entire face, you can look like a clown, and it will actually start cracking if you have too much. So this is a tricky foundation, and I would not recommend it if you're not very familiar with applying foundations and how to make them work, because otherwise you will just be frustrated with this. I know that I was frustrated the first time I tried it, because I was like, okay, they must just be exaggerating that it has to be applied on a certain amount, like that's strange, but they weren't joking. Like here you can see, okay, so it's 1 dot, you apply 3 dots of product on your face, and that's supposed to already give you a pretty medium coverage, and then you can reapply in areas that you need to apply. So here it is, the Marc Jacobs Remarkable Foundation in shade 10. It's very, very pale. The undertone, as I said, neutral. It's not, doesn't go towards pink, doesn't go towards yellow. It's more, anyone in those two can wear it. They have shade 12, which is more of a peachy yellowish shade, and again, it is a hair darker, so if this is too pale, you can always try with the shade 12. The finish is slightly, as I said, chalky, and I don't want to say matte, but it is on the more matte end of it, because it actually sets into a powdery sensation. But it's not like a mattifying foundation per se, it's just that it is pigment with some kind of a solvent. So when you're applying your face, it's liquid, but when it sets, all the liquid is gone, so you're actually left with almost pure pigment. hence why it can have such high coverage on a liquid form. Any questions regarding this foundation? Okay, so I'll move on to the next one. I'm sorry if this is starting to be a bit too long. I'm going to try and keep it. How much time do you have, guys, available? Like, would still be 20 minutes more okay, or can we run it half an hour more? It's up to you. What is it, Muff? You want to come here? Come here. Come here, my baby. Come. You want to come? Come. Come here. Up. Yeah. Here you are, cutie pie. Want to say hello? Still don't want to say hello? No. So I'm going to still continue. Hopefully, oops, sorry. Yeah, so the next one is the Cover Effects, and it's the Total Cover Cream Foundation SPF 30. And this is in the shade, I want to show you, here, shade N0. Let me think. They used to have this one, this shade N0 only in this formulation, but now they have made it, I believe, in 2 other formulas. So their regular full coverage liquid foundation and their oil controlling foundation, I believe. I'm not sure. It's on Sephora. But anyways, what is it, Muff? What's the matter? You want apple? Anyways, he's just being Muff. So yeah, this has full coverage. I would say it's almost the same thing as MAC full coverage. So if MAC full coverage in W10 is too pinkish, or yeah, I would say too pinkish, then you might actually like this one. This is more of a neutral undertone, hence the N. N in Cover Effects denotes neutral, P denotes pink, G denotes gold undertones. So just keep that in mind. They don't make the shade 0 in any other besides the neutral. They have P10, which is more of an NW 11 to 13. But this is the palest that they're making. So this is what it looks like. And here it is blended. This is actually, I would say, close to NW-NC05. Not quite, more not, no, sorry. This is more NC-NW07. So if you're NC-NW 10 or slightly paler than that, you will be able to pull this one off. Now, this is good as concealer. You don't really need to use this on your entire face, or if you have certain areas with a lot of scarring or hyperpigmentation or acne and you only need certain areas to be covered, then this is very good for that. Full coverage application, I know it has a lot of good ratings, good reviews, but I found it to be extremely oil inducing. So basically every time I would use this, my face would just be very oily. I tried it on other people, same thing happened. And it can be also in cold winter days, so it's nothing to be like, it's not weather related. Oh, hello Aga, how are you? But yeah, this isn't anyhow a foundation if you have very oily skin, or even combination skin. It might be hard as a full-on foundation. It's very good because it gives absolute coverage. You can just cover everything and reshape your face with contouring, and this will look really good. It will look beautiful on pictures, beautiful on camera, but in real life it can start cracking, it can start looking very heavy, very dull, and certain areas where, for example, you're smiling, those smile lines, they can start to crack earlier than time, for example, or you get too oily. It can also emphasize certain dry areas, so keep that in mind. But yeah, this is a good NCNW 07 to NCNW 10, something like that. Also, something to keep in mind is that it has an SPF. Hello, Ma, you wanna come? Okay, there he is. It has an SPF of 30, and let me check quickly. The SPF is octocrylene 8.5% in water, Octisalat 5% in water, avobenzone 3%, and I think that's it. Here you can see it, or not sure if you can see it well. What else it has? It's also, you know, paraben-free, fragrance-free, gluten-free, and mineral oil and talc-free. So if you're sensitive to those things and you really need to find a foundation, and it's also cruelty-free. So they have a really, really wide range of colors. That's what's good in this company. They also make like different formulations, so you're not only stuck with this one, but I was just reviewing this one because that's what I have. It's also, it actually works surprisingly well as an under eye concealer if you set it properly. So yeah, any questions about this foundation, just let me know. And Muffy's just chilling out here, right? Yeah, so I'll move on to the next one. I'm gonna go with a less mainstream foundation, and this is the the Paul & Joe, let's see, light cream foundation S in the shade 00. So there it is. Not sure if it will actually focus, but there we go. The packaging again is very, very beautiful, very retro, old school 50s. I think it's very gorgeous. Overall, Paul & Joe packaging is very, very nice. This foundation, this is light coverage, light to not even medium. You cannot achieve medium with this. So I would say this is strictly light coverage. It's also very, very moisturizing. So if you have extremely oily skin, this will not work. What else can I say about it? It has a natural fresh finish with a slight dewiness, so it makes your skin look juicy or plump, if you wish. The undertone is in this one is neutral to cool. Here it is. So this is what it looks like. It has a slight yellow undertone to it, which is actually, I find it very nice because if you're very pale, you tend to have some kind of redness visible, or more of that redness visible than someone who's a little darker skin tone or tanned. So this counteracts it very nicely. It doesn't look yellow on the skin. It actually looks very, very natural, and I am very like bluish undertoned. So yeah, here it is. I would say this is paler than NCNW 10, and if you are NCNW 05, you can pull it off as well because the coverage is very light, so it won't look like you have a mask. It actually lets your own skin show through a little bit, so it will be a good fit. Again, I compare this one to a tinted moisturizer, more or less. Slightly more coverage than a tinted moisturizer, but still in that spectrum. It's a Japanese foundation, so it's made in Japan, so the quality is very, very good. Japanese foundations tend to be extremely good at pigments, so the pigment look very, very beautiful. It doesn't tend to oxidize that much. It stays more true to tone, and it tends to be slightly more brightening. The SPF is 15, well, you can tell 15, and the PA is 2+. So if there are any questions regarding this, foundation, let me know. I'll be gladly answering it. I hope you're not falling asleep yet. I don't know how entertaining this is. Oops. So I'm gonna go on with the next foundation, and this is the Hourglass Veil. Again, the bottle is everything. Like, it's this deep, dark, brown maroon color. I really love the packaging. But yeah, it's the Veil foundation, and it's the Fluid Makeup Oil-Free Broad Spectrum SPF 15 in the shade 0 Porcelain. So what can I say about this one? This one gives you medium coverage, medium, not full, but it's a true medium coverage. If you have liked Studio Sculpt from MAC, it's very comparable to Studio Sculpt, except that it's more brightening. It smooths out the skin way better, and it doesn't make your skin get oily as fast as the Studio Sculpt. Studio Sculpt is also waterproof or water resistant. This one is also, I believe it's waterproof or water resistant. Let me double check that one so I'm not actually saying some kind of whatever. Just checking online quickly. Okay, that's good. I'm happy that it's actually being helpful. I actually enjoy doing this kind of things, that it's more interactive rather than me just talking to a camera. Let's see. Okay, got it. So it says that it's oil-free and long-wearing treatment foundation. It has serum-like formula. It has a natural radiant finish, like second skin. It's vegan. Where does it say the waterproof thingy? I believe it was water resistant, but maybe I was wrong. So the sunscreens in this, it's Octinoxate 7.5%, Octisalat 4%, and oxybenzone 3%. So this is purely chemical sunscreen. It actually has good benefits because it has, I believe it has peptides. Let me check. It has protein. Yeah, it has palmitoyl tripeptide 38. And it has other goodies in there. But yeah, it has the palmitoyl tripeptide. So it's a little bit more advanced than a regular foundation. I believe this was somehow water resistant or something like that. It doesn't say on the website, but I recall reading something like that on the packaging. Anyways, moving on. This is what it looks like applied. And there it is. The scent is also similar to the Studio Sculpt. Not exactly quite like that, but it's similar. As you can see, of course, it is too dark for me. Most tend to be too dark for me, but oh well. And I'm actually swatching here, which is not my most palest area. Here is even paler. But anyways, yeah, it has a natural radiant satinish finish to it. I would say that this is good if you are NC 12, 13 to NC 15. It looks darker here, but it actually, when you apply it on your face and you blend it properly, it doesn't end up being this dark. And yeah, here it is. It's actually pretty yellow. It has strong yellow undertones. This is really, I call it piss yellow. You know, that dehydrated, I don't want to say what, but you know what. So yeah, I'm taking a MAC, whatever, full coverage in NC15. There it is. And yeah. So as you can see, it's the yellow undertone that's making it more pronounced of my skin. But yeah, it's very, very yellow undertoned. But when you actually blend it out, let's see if it still works. When you actually blend it out, it doesn't look that bad, as you can see. It's actually pretty nice. Like, it doesn't look that sick-ish yellow. So this one actually looks better when you apply it on your face. I really, really love it. It has a beautiful finish, beautiful, it photographs beautifully. Oh my gosh, this is just gorgeous on pictures. I personally wear it. I know that it's slightly darker, too dark for me, but I wear it because I like the finish. I like how it looks. And yeah, I just enjoy it. Is there any questions for this foundation in particular? So, moving on. This is a new one, so I'm going to be reviewing. Let me actually review the other shade too. I'll be back. By the way, this is my foundation drawer. I have there the other container where I'm actually storing my foundations that have to be sold or that I want to sell and I don't really have too much use on. Let me try and put this one up. Okay, good. I'm sorry. Yeah, I was a bit tired of sitting all the time, so I'm now standing up. I'm going to be doing a review now, or swatch, on 3 new foundations from Guerlain. This was sent to me by Julia, so it's the Guerlain Parure Gold in the shade 00. I believe this shade is Asia exclusive. You can buy it somewhere in Europe online, probably in Germany, probably in Russia, and for sure in Asia. And online, of course, you can probably find it online. But it's the reformulated Parure Gold, which was really beloved in Guerlain, but it was very limited in the shade range. And those that were in that shade range were actually appearing darker than the other formula. So 01 in that shade was, in that formula, was actually way darker, like maybe a 02 or 03 in the other formula. So it was a little bit weird, but a lot of people love that foundation because although it is a rejuvenating type of foundation, it has a really beautiful finish. So it's not overly creamy, not overly moisturizing. It just, I want to say that it's a nice party foundation, but because it lifts everything, it smooths everything, it brightens everything, it looks gorgeous under artificial light. It's not too amazing during daylight, but if you're under artificial light, it's like a Photoshop filter for your face. So I'll be starting off with the liquid formula, and then I have the 2 powder formulas. So I have the 00 refill and I have the 01 compact. So I'm going to be comparing these two as well. So yeah, Julia was kind enough to send me a really generous sample, which I was really, really thrilled about. So cleaning that area well. Whoops. Hey. Smells wonderful. I like the smell. Let's see. I think they should do. Yeah. This foundation, if I'm not wrong, it contains gold particles, mirror oil or mirror extract, and I believe it has Does it have peptides? I don't know. Julia has actually the packaging for the fluid one, so I'm not sure if it has peptides, but I do know that it's sort of like their anti-aging foundation. So here you have it. It actually, there it is. What's good about this one is that, as I said, for being an anti-aging foundation, it's not overly oily or overly greasy. It's not like Bobbi Brown has and Lancome has, they're geared or aimed at women over 50 or 60, and they tend to be really heavy, more of the balmish type of texture. But this one is really liquidish. It's a liquid with a slight creaminess to it, but it sets. It doesn't fully set like MAC Studio Fix, nothing like that, but it still sets into a beautiful finish. So you have to let it be for about 10 minutes or something like that, I would say, before it fully blends and sets into your face. I don't know what Julia would think about that, but that's what I experienced. But here it is. Again, it has pretty strong yellow undertones, which is to be expected from Guerlain. And also, I believe that the shade 0, 0, and 01 tend to be more on the yellow end of the spectrum. So here we have it. I'm going to compare it to MAC NC15, the MAC full coverage. So there you have it. It is slightly darker. Well, if you blend it, it is a hair darker, just a hair, than the compact formula. But if you're having MAC Studio Sculpt in NC15, it's about this. So it really depends on the formula that you're basing your reference on. I tend to use this because I have it readily available. I also have the liquid formulas, but I don't tend to use them as often to make comparisons because I have all the shades in here that I need to compare it to. But anyways, here it is. It's very close to the NC15, so I would say that this is an NC15, almost a true NC15. I didn't find any issues when wearing it. It sort of warms up the skin a little bit more. And as I said, keep in mind that this is more of a party type of foundation. So this is a foundation when you're going a night out or you're going shopping under really bright lights or clubbing or something like that, because this will show its true beauty under artificial light. Under artificial light, you can't really tell a huge difference if the shade is off by 1 or by 2 shades. It's not that big deal as with natural daylight, where you can see right away if someone is wearing foundation and you can see the mark here. So that's why I said it's not really a big deal for me, because when I wear this, I usually go under artificial lights if I go shopping or something like that. And it wasn't really that bothersome for myself. What can I say else about this one? It's, again, very smoothing. I was asked if I can compare it to Tom Ford Liquid in 01. 1 second. This is my other box of foundations. This is the ones that I actually want to sell because, well, I have 2 more of these, and I think that I have enough. So yeah, let's see. Was it the liquid? Yes. So I'm gonna compare it to the Tom Ford 01 Alabaster. There it is. This is the liquid one. There it is. Well, sorry, I didn't ask you, Muff. Yeah, I know. So for me, the Tom Ford ends up being really, really dark, like really insanely dark. This is when I have 2-3 coats of self-tanner. Let's see. I'm going to try with the NW20. So this one. So this is NW20. Whoops, sorry. So you can see the Tom Ford in Alabaster is actually darker than NW20. This is how Alabaster looks like, which is, I don't understand, why are you calling this Alabaster? I mean, last time I checked, NW20 isn't considered extremely fair. I mean, this is more of an NW25, so yeah, definitely way darker. Let's see the stick foundation. This is a stick foundation that I have from Tom Ford. I'm gonna compare it. Whoops, no, you can see it there. There. Well, it is slightly darker than the NC15. A hair darker, but I mean, it's very close. I think the undertones are off. There, you can see. It is a hair darker. This is the Tom Ford Stick Foundation in Alabaster. This is a Tom Ford Traceless Liquid Foundation in Alabaster. This is NW20 from MAC. This is NC20 from MAC. This is Guerlain Parure Gold in 00. So again, the Guerlain, this one, still is a hair lighter and brighter than the Tom Ford Stick Foundation. Yeah, definitely, especially when I'm looking at it now in real life. I'm gonna make also one of those live streams talking about all of the other foundations that I have here, but I mean, I had to pick and limit which ones I was gonna talk about today. What's the matter, Muff? What's the matter? I'm soon with you. Anyways, that was that. I'm gonna quickly go over. So there is these 3 foundations to go over, and then I'm gonna talk a little bit about some lipsticks, and probably will be done, if that's fine with you all. What's the matter, Muff? What? He's actually complaining because he wants me to give him more food or something. Come here. Come here. Up. You okay? Why are you complaining, baby? Okay. Take it. Yeah. He was actually crying behind there. I know. He wants some attention too. Mahi, look at the foundation. Yeah. So, next one that I'm going to be talking about is the Parure Gold in shade 01. This is the powder. They reformulated the powder as well. Now the powder is creamier, more brightening, if that makes sense. Oh yeah, that's true. I'm going to have a really huge blog sale, which I'm working on right now, taking pictures and descriptions and whatnot. So I'll probably make a live stream for the blog sale, because nobody needs the amount that I accumulated. Nobody. But yeah, anyways, this is what the compact, this is what a compact looks like. It's sort of like a sliding format. I'm not sure if you can notice that, but the foundation slides, and when it slides, it reveals this little pocket in here where you actually store your sponge. Again, very beautiful foundation, but the interesting thing with this is that, also as described in the packaging, this can either be used as a setting powder or as a foundation. So that's, I would say, pretty neat. So this is what the foundation looks like. Let's see if I can make it appear or show. There it go. There you go. There it is. And I'm really packing it heavy so you can see the shade. I mean, there. Oops, I didn't remove there properly, or there. Sorry. Okay, so this is the Guerlain Parure Gold Radiance Powder Foundation. So this is what the packaging of the refill is, but at any rate, it has SPF 15, PA 2 stars, and it has talc. So if you're sensitive with talc, I wouldn't recommend it. I'm trying to figure out what's the SPF. I don't know. I found titanium dioxide nano, so I would assume it's that. But anyways, this is what it looks like. I personally absolutely love this foundation. I like to wear it on top of liquid tinted moisturizers or liquid foundations. On its own, but on top of another foundation or tinted moisturizer, it's just beautiful. This sort of, it takes a minute before it blends into the skin and it, as I want to say, bake into the skin. But then once it does, it sort of, it evens out everything and it gives you that glow of radiance on your skin. I don't know how to explain it. It's not dewy, it's matte, but it's very, very radiant. Now I'm going to be showing you the shade 00, which again, I believe it's an Asia exclusive, or I found it in Helsinki. So if you're in that area, you can find it. But this, whoops. Let's see. We don't want to be breaking this one. Gosh. So this is 01. Wee, where's Muff? There's Muff. Wee, he's behind. And this is 00. You can see it is considerably lighter, but this one is already pretty pale. So I would say that this is NC 12 to 13, because when I compare it to NC 15, I mean, you can see, well, no, it is close to NC 15 because I packed it very heavily here. So, I mean, they're almost up to par in the shade wise. So, I mean, unless you're gonna really be packing on half of the product on your face, I don't think it will make that big of a difference. So it really depends what you want. If you're very, very pale and you want something to warm up your complexion, or you tend to have foundations that are too chalky, too ghostly looking, then you might want to try 01. But if you want to brighten your foundation, or you are very, very pale and you want to stay like that, you don't need to add any warmth, then 00 might be a better choice. So this is what 00 looks like. And here's 00. As you can see, it is paler than NC 15. It's, I want to say NC 10. It's close to NC 10. Anyone from NC 08 to NC 12 can wear the 00. Anyone from NC 10 to NC 15 can wear the shade 01. So again, I've been packing them really, really heavily so that you would be able to tell, but otherwise they are so finely milled, and they're not supposed to be like a heavy caking foundation. It's nothing like the Studio Fix powder. So I don't see a big issue with the shade. Any questions regarding that foundation? Just, again, let me know. I'm happily answering your questions. Whoops. Last foundation for today is by IT Cosmetics, and this is the Celebration Foundation Illumination. Okay, that's too many iron at the end. See? That's a tongue catcher. And the shade is in Fair, and it's made in USA. This has gazillion stuff in there. Like, there's vitamins, peptides, proteins. I mean, I get lost in the ingredients list, so I'm not going to even try to remember what's in there. But why I like this one is because it's, again, very glowy. So this is slightly more glowy or pearlescent than the Guerlain one. It's also more chalky, so it's how to say? Yeah, it feels like, you know, that chalk for the chalkboard. That's what it feels like slightly when touching it. So I mean, you can tell that this is a lower price range than this one. Like, this is the luxury of face powders. Like, this is the top that you can get in terms of face powders. This isn't really cheap per se, but it is, of course, you can probably buy 2 of these with the price of 1 of these. But yeah, this is what it looks like. Here it is. So this is actually, I would say, anyone from NCNW 0809 to NCNW 12 could pull it off. It has some kind of shimmer. I mean, you can see it there. It almost looks like I've grabbed an eyeshadow. Like, can you tell that? It's like some kind of shimmery or pearly eyeshadow. So that's what it is. It's actually very nice when buffed, especially with their buffing brush. So this is the actual brush that you would use with this product, or any of these flat type kabuki brush. I don't like, again, personal preference, I don't like to use powder foundations alone. I find them very drying, very mattifying, so I tend to use them on top of a liquid foundation. And this actually works very nice on days that I want to have extra coverage, because this is supposed to be almost full coverage. So this is like Studio Fix powder, but with that pearlescent glowy thingy going on. Also, it has SPF. Now, I don't remember what's the SPF. I believe it's SPF 30 or something like that. I can't really recall. And yeah, it is good to buff on top of the foundation. Very cute. I like it. But it can tend to be a little bit chalky, especially the sensation. Here it is. Again, it was very, very glowy. If you have any questions regarding this, just let me know. So now we have covered many foundations. I thought that we would switch it up a little bit, and I'll be just chit-chatting about some new products that I've been enjoying. Some of the newer products. Let's start with the Makeup Forever Ultra HD Concealer. This is a new one. I think they used to have these click pens before. That was a total disaster, if you ask me. It was just like waste of money. What is in mouth? You want food? I mean, he actually has food, but he's very picky. Like, I have to change it a couple of times a day, otherwise he's going to be complaining. So no, he's asking for that. Anyways, this is the shade Y21. They have a range of correcting shades. So those have pinkish and salmonish undertones. And then they have the concealing shades, which are more skin tone. Do you mind if I quickly go and give him extra food? Because he's not gonna stop crying there. I'll be back. Yeah, I'm giving you. Yeah, I'm giving you. These are his, food pots, so I'm gonna be back. I'll be back. I brought him yummy food. Okay, Mom, come here. Your food. There you go. Okay, finally. Yes, gotta keep Muffy happy. Otherwise he's gonna be like crying there, look at me like, why are you doing this to me? And I'm like, ah. Okay, so I was talking about this foundation, this concealer. It's reformulated like all of their Ultra HD. Okay. Well, good to know. Yeah, so I really love this one. That's what I'm wearing today. I don't know if you can tell. Under eyes. It's very extremely natural finish. That's what I like about this. It's like skin. You can't really tell that you have a concealer there. So this is the shade. There it is. There. So even if you come really close up, this will look like actual skin, which it's a big win in my opinion. So this is, I would say, NWNC 05 to 07 if you're using it as a spot corrector. But if you're anywhere from CNW 05 to NCNW 12, 13, then this is good under eye. It's very brightening, very natural finish, long lasting, and like really great coverage. It's not like for caking up your face, but otherwise super coverage. Next, I wanted to talk about the, yeah, it's definitely, it's like really nice. And if your concern is a lot of, you know, purplish undertone under your eyes, then you might want to try the lightest shade of the correcting ones, which I tried it on my hand. The only difference is that it had a little bit more of a pinkish undertone, so it will counteract that darkness under your eyes, but otherwise it was the same kind of lightness in the shade. So yeah, next on is the, you know, those Dior Glow lip balms, the sorry, Lip Glow Color Reviver Balm. This is what it looks like. Super cute packaging. I got the 005 Lilac, and basically these, what they do is that they change the color when you apply them on your lips. So it's pretty much customizable, so every person will get a different reaction, but basically this is having a lilac undertone. Let me show you. I don't know if you can tell. But it makes the lips look juicy. It doesn't look like you have a lipstick. It just brings a little bit of color in your lips, and it evens out the surface of the lips. I personally really love this. The coral one that I have can tend to look a little bit artificial, but the new lilac one that's for springtime, it's really gorgeous, really natural pinkish tone. Yeah, exactly. It's very subtle. It's not anything, it's just like a lip balm with, it's like a tinted moisturizer for your lips basically. So that's why I really love this, because most often I don't fancy really wearing lipstick, because you have to really maintain, at least I like to maintain lipsticks. Next are the new, I want to say, lipsticks from Guerlain. So I have three. They are the La Petite Robe Noire, so little black dress. If you're familiar with Guerlain, that will ring a bell, because they have a fragrance which is by the same name. It's a deliciously shiny lip color, and the scent is actually inspired by that fragrance. So if you like that fragrance, you'll likely love the scent. Now, first thing that struck me was the packaging. I mean, this looks like some kind of Anna Sui or now I can't recall the name, but there are several Japanese brands, like higher end Japanese makeup brand, that make this kind of fun packaging. So it looks very, very beautiful. Very, I don't know. It looks almost like some kind of gemstone or something like that. Then you open it like this, so it clicks out. First thing that I notice is the smell. So if you're very sensitive to fruity kind of smells, you will not like this. But I personally, I bought 3, and I never buy many of the same lipsticks. I tend to like want to try everything. So I'm like, I want all of them. It just smells so good, and it looks also very, very good, and it tastes very good. It tastes, I want to say, well, now I'm smelling it, but it tastes a little bit fruity, if I would say something. So yeah, this one is the shade 001, I think my first lipstick. So this is basically like a bit like the lip glow, but it has some kind of shimmery color to it. So let me show you what I mean. There you go. I'm gonna actually remove the lipstick that I have now, and I'm gonna show you. So now I don't have anything, or I hope so. So this is what it looks like. Again, it's very, very subtle. It's very much like the lip glow, nothing too loud about it. Yeah, it definitely tastes like fruit. What can I say? It's very similar to the lip glow 00, what's the shade? I think 001. It's the pink one, except that it has some kind of sparkliness to it, which can bother some people because you can slightly feel them. I mean, it's nothing that I would notice, but if you're very sensitive to those things, you might not like these ones. It's also very high shine, so this isn't meant to be an opaque lipstick or, you know, very impactful lipstick. It's just meant to be sort of pretty juicy kind of lips. Let me try. Now I'm gonna try the other shades. So the next one that I picked up is 007. Which one was that? Leather Blazer. Let me grab the packaging. So Leather Blazer, Black Perfecto. Again, I thought that this would actually be black, but it's really far from the truth. As you can see, it has sparkles. It's sort of like a blackberry sparkly lipstick. Again, smells very good. Let's see if it makes any difference on camera. So this sort of like makes your lip a bit more wine-ish color, but without it being lipstick, if that makes sense. Look. It's sort of like it darkens a bit your lips, but it doesn't deposit that much pigment that it would cover your own lip. So this is very much, if you have a very pigmented lip, it will look darker. If you have a very light lip, it will look slightly less dark. How moisturizing they are, not very. I mean, they feel very lush. They feel very slippery, very I don't know how to explain it, very emollient, but I've noticed with this that I actually need to apply more lip balm afterwards because it can tend to be slightly drying. I don't want to throw all the fault at these lipsticks, but that's what I noticed. So I would be mindful of this. These aren't really moisturizing per se, so I wouldn't say that. 1 second, I need to plug my computer to the wall. I'm gonna grab it. I wasn't planning on having such a long live stream, so that's why I didn't plan on the. Anyways, moving on to the last shade. Let me know in the comments what you would like to see, because I'm just rambling here, but I don't exactly know what you're interested in. I was trying to get samples of the new foundations at Sephora. I went the day before yesterday, and they were just about to close, so the stuff wasn't really available, so I wasn't able to get the samples, nor I was able to purchase any of the new foundations. So I was originally planning on doing that today, but I wasn't able to get any of those, so I'm sorry. But there are many new cool foundations, which I'll talk about in a soon. Anyways, the last shade in these lipsticks it's the 013 Leather Blazer. So this looks sort of brownish, like a leather blazer, basically. Here's the swatch, and it has a lot of sparkle. It's some kind of silvery sparkle thingy. So yeah, let's wear this one. This ends up being more metallic. So this is more of a lipstick that you can notice. Again, you can customize the opacity of this. Not very opaque, but you can still have like one layer, it will look like some kind of wash of color, and then a little bit more and it looks metallic almost. So this is like some kind of brown with a silver metallicity, if that makes sense. I really like this color. It's very elegant, and it's very good if you don't want to wear full-on brown lips, because full-on brown lips can look very grungy, very 90s, and very heavy. You really need to have a lot of makeup in order to pull off the brown lipstick, but this is just like some kind of introduction to brown lipstick, I would say. If you're very shy for browns, then this is a very good shade to start with. Again, very glossy, very juicy. Doesn't look like you have much going on, but still adds some pigmentation to your lips. So yeah. Next product I wanted to talk about, which I recently got, is the Anastasia Glow Kit. And I know that if you're very pale, there isn't really that many who are reviewing this. Oh, sorry. No, I don't have the Givenchy ones. I try them on. I feel that the Givenchy ones are more creamier, if that makes sense. They have more of a creamy consistency. Also, they're less translucent, and they have less glitter in them, because those from Guerlain, I've noticed that most of them have some kind of glitter or a pearly particle in them, except some of the red ones and pink ones, but otherwise they tend to be very sparkly in a way, and more of a sheer kind of color, whereas the Givenchy ones, some of them are quite opaque, not very, but more opaque than the Guerlain ones, and some of them are very much like a neutral lip balm, but I don't have any to actually compare them here. So yeah, this is the Anastasia kit. I know that now they're sort of like the everything, the big thing, and I wanted to try them because, well, I've never tried any Anastasia highlighters. Like, I've tried them on my hand, but didn't really try them on my face. So this is the cooler toned one. I actually am wearing most of the colors today. What can I say? This one is actually has a very funny duochrome. It's sort of like pinkish duochrome. This is like a bronzy color, I would say, if you're very pale. This is a nice highlighter, and this is a well, a highlighter too. Now, they tend to add a lot of pigmentation if you're very pale. So, would I recommend purchasing this one? No. I think that there are way better highlighters for paler skin than this kit. This is good if you're the typical Instagram model, you know, tanned or, you know, fair by Instagram standards, which isn't really super fair. But this is for that type of person. If you're extremely fair, I mean, look, these are the highlighters. Like, they legit look like I have blush and contour. Like, they don't really look like highlighting. Here I have the lightest shade, so basically the only one that I would say that is good as a highlighter is this one. But these ones are nice if you want to blend your contour or you want to blend your blush or something like that. But I wouldn't say that they are very good as a highlighter if you're very pale. So just don't waste your money on these. You can buy the Becca. There is Moonlight, there is Pearl. Those two are very, very pale, for example. They would work way better than this. So yeah, let me know if there is something that you would like me to talk about or show. Actually, I don't know if I'm running out of ideas or what, but I don't really know what you would like to see. I don't want to just keep you here for the sake of keeping you. I wanted to mention something to Albino Harry. Just quickly, I have your lipstick. I would need you to email me your address, and no worries about the cost. Just email me your PO box or whatever so I can send it. I wasn't able to get the foundation. Again, apologies, because I went to the airport. Like, I wanted to be able to carry it with me because my actual luggage was, yeah, already overweight. So I went to the airport, but they weren't having the foundation in any pale shades, which is very weird. But anyways, this is very gorgeous, so I was able to grab this. So I would like to send that to you ASAP. But is there anything that anyone would like me to show or talk about in particular that you need help with, or I'm gonna just quickly showcase some things until I get the texts or the messages. If you're very pale, another concealer that is very, very nice is the Amazing concealer from Amazing Cosmetics. This is the shade Ivory. This is what it looks like. This is a heavy-duty, full coverage foundation concealer. This is what it looks like. This is on the thicker aspect. Okay, you can send me on Instagram. I'm gonna reinstall my Instagram because I removed it from my phone because it was taking a lot of space. So I'm gonna reinstall it and check the messages. Anyways, yeah, this is another good concealer if you're very, very pale. If you're not that pale or you don't really mind slightly darker, another good one is from Cosmetics, the Duo one in Fair. So there is the Bye Bye Under Eye and the Brightener. So you have two sides. So the Bye Bye Under Eye basically is removing a little bit of the darkness because it has a slight yellow tinge to it. And then the actual brightener is a brightener, so it's very pearly, but it's very nice if you're mixing them together because it sort of smooths out the fine lines and things like that. So yeah, this is the concealer and this is the brightener. Yeah. So yeah, I suppose that's it. Let me know, guys, when it would suit you to have another of these live stream events. Are Fridays good or are Mondays better for you? Either way, both days work well for me. Is this time good or would later be better? Okay, cool. Sounds good. So yeah, anyways. Hoping. I'll usually be starting at 2 p.m. around my time. So maybe a little bit earlier, like 10 or 15 minutes before that, I'll be already opening up the camera. Feel free to pop by. If you have any requests on what you would like to see on the next one, let me know so I can plan beforehand. I'm gonna try and get some goodies from Sephora and Ulta on this week so that you guys can look forward to that. Probably I'm gonna get some stuff because my birthday is on Monday, so I'm probably gonna go to Sephora or something like that. So thank you very much for being here. I really appreciate it. It was awesome interacting with you guys. That's why I like YouTubing, because I love interacting with people. Not very much like just watch my video and click like that's not exactly what I'm here for. I just love sharing what I know. And let me grab Muffy so he can say bye-bye. Muffy, let's go. Come. Bye-bye. Muffy, come say bye-bye. Come. And both of us, we're gonna say oops. Okay. Anyways, he was saying bye-bye. He said, don't touch me. He's kind of busy now. So yeah. Anyways, so I'll see you next Friday, probably. I'm gonna be uploading all the rest of the favorites. So I have, I think, 3 more videos to upload on the favorites. I know that they're extremely long. Again, I apologize. I just filmed that and then I realized, oh my gosh, I really have a lot of footage too. I'm trying to cut it and make it shorter, but yeah, anyways, after that one, I really do hope that I'll be able to get back to something else, filming something else. But anyways, thank you very much for watching, everybody. It was great meeting you. It was great chit-chatting with you. And I hope we can talk next week. Again, if you need any help, anything, on Instagram and email or comments on YouTube or direct message on YouTube, whichever way, I'm around. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye-bye.